Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. It is May 4th. It is Thursday. May the 4th be with you. I know, right? I'm waiting for all the Catholics to say, and also with you. But it is May 4th. So it's, in a way, Star Wars Day. And because of that, I have 25 tidbits, trivia bits, whatever you want to call it, about Star Wars. And not just the first one, but all of them. The tidbits or the trivia kind of just ranges across the board. But I will also post the articles because I'm just going to give you basically the headline of each one. And if you read the article, it will explain more about each of the trivia things. So, let's see. Okay, so again, it's Star Wars. Star Wars was released on May 25th, 1977, so basically 46 years ago. And today is going to be all about Star Wars. All right, today is going to be all about Star Wars. So, and as many of you know, I'm a very proud geek. So, all right. This came from bestlifeonline.com. And good morning, Sammy. So, let's see here. Number one, R2-D2 once spoke English, but was a jerk, even insulting C3PO. So, hello, bells and whistles only, right? Hello, bells and whistles only. So again, like I said, if you want to read the descriptions of each one of these, I will be posting the article. I will also post it on the YouTube comments. So if you're watching it on Twitter, if you've opened that, hopefully you can see the comments there and click on the link and it'll explain everything. So number two, can you just quickly though, can you imagine R2-D2 being a jerk? He's so cute. He's so cute. You just want to hug him whenever you see him. So cannot. Number two, the original ending of Return of the Jedi had Luke going rogue and becoming evil. That's right. My notes say boo to that ending. But yeah, George Lucas initially decided that he was going to have Luke take the mask off his father and then put it on and say, now I'm Vader. And it's like, oh no, that was the pitch. So I don't think that was actually, but it's like, no. So, but yeah, he realized that his movie was mostly for kids. So it's kind of like, no. Kids. Right. Well, I was 4 when I saw it. So, what can I say? And it was. My dad took me. That was the first movie I can ever really truly remember seeing, and it was fun. My dad took me. So, yeah. So the original ending of Return of the Jedi was supposed to be that Luke went bad. Actually, I saw that one with both of my parents. So of course it was the third in the original trilogy, and then and then there was the other 3, which were the prequel, and then there was the other 3, which were the ending. So. Or, the finishing off the New Hope saga. So, number 3, Yoda was almost a monkey. I know, right? That just kind of throws me that Yoda was almost a monkey. So, number 4, Carrie Fisher slapped Oscar Isaac more than 40 times on the first day of shooting The Last Jedi. Can you imagine? I think that's when he got demoted, and it was just kind of like, pew, pew, but they couldn't get it right, so... yeah. I mean, of course, he considered it an honor, but you are getting slapped by Princess Leia, so not a bad thing. And a well-known author and actress of many other movies other than just Star Wars. So, number 5. Oh, I have a fun fact, and it wasn't in this one. I can't remember the character's name, but Carrie Fisher's daughter was actually I don't know if she was in all the movies or just The Last Jedi. But yeah, she had and it was a speaking part, but yeah, so her daughter was in the movies. Just as a small part, and if you didn't know who she was, you probably wouldn't know, but I read it somewhere, and it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, number 5, Boba Fett first appeared, so people think Boba Fett first appeared in, I can't remember, was it Empire Strikes Back? But he actually, off-screen, first appeared in a country fair parade held in San Anselmo, California in 1978. So again, Boba Fett first appeared in a country fair parade held in San Anselmo, California in 1978. It was a parade that was just in the county where Lucasfilms, is, and where they have their offices. And and I guess studios. And, so I don't think anybody really knew that. It was a very random fact. In fact, I can't remember who it was, but one of the guys who worked for Lucasfilms, it wasn't the guy who ended up playing Boba Fett, but one of the guys who works for Lucasfilms actually, he and another gentleman dressed up as Darth Vader, and he dressed up as Boba Fett, and they just led this parade, just walk in, just kind of, bringing the villain to the parade. So, number 6, Samuel L. Jackson had his lightsaber engraved with a bad word. Gee, I wonder which one. He also asked for it to be different. So, hello. Well, I knew that one. I added that one. He asked to have a different colored purple, or have a different colored. God, I cannot talk today. He asked to have a different colored lightsaber, so they made it purple. Now, in the article, when I read it, it didn't actually say what was engraved on there. I mean, he said had a bad word, but some people are assuming that maybe it goes back to the Pulp Fiction time where he had the wallet that said bad motherfucker on it. So, which, if you're a Jedi wielding a purple lightsaber, hello, you're kind of a bad motherfucker. So, so BMF. Anyways, number 7. The original Darth Vader is banned. Ooh, I forgot about that one. The original Darth Vader is banned from all Star Wars events. David Prowse. Now, we're not talking James Earl Jones, okay? We're talking about the guy who actually wore the suit. David Prowse, a British bodybuilder and the wearer of the costume, said only that he burnt too many bridges with Lucasfilms and himself. So, I don't know if fame got to his head or I don't know, but it's pretty sad. Sammy, I know, right? When she just said Sam Jackson, a bad word, say it ain't so. Seriously, when I read this article and it said he had a bad word engraved on his sword, I'm like, wow, who's shocked? Not me. So, yeah. But yeah, so, and here's a fun fact. I actually used to work with a David Prowse. No, not the same one, but we used to talk about that all the time. And how he thought it was funny that they both had the same name. But yeah, I guess the guy who was the British bodybuilder who wore he wore it well. He wore the Darth Vader costume very well. So it's sad that he was banned. It's sad whatever he did. I don't know. He wouldn't elaborate in the article. They didn't elaborate in the article. I'm assuming it's just something that we may never ever know, but it is sad because that's the guy who wore the costume, and that's Darth Vader with not the voice, obviously. I mean, if you really stop and think about it, Darth Vader was like 3 different people. I mean, he was James Earl Jones as the voice, he was David Prowse as the costume. And then, of course, when I can't remember who the actor was, I'm sorry, I can't. Who, I know you're like, what kind of geek are you? You can't remember. My brain is so foggy right now. But what do you call it? The one when they take the mask off. So, all the things. So, let's see. Number 8. This one's a funny one. Adam Driver recorded his last lines as Kylo Ren in his closet. Now, here's the funny thing. I don't know if this was a COVID thing or if it was because he was at home or what, but I don't think it was a COVID thing. Or was it? Maybe it was. I don't know. I should have read the whole article, but I was writing all this stuff down really quick yesterday. But anyways, it's not uncommon for actors to finish up their parts in a closet because it's quiet and it gives you that good echo, but you also get that kind of reinforced hollow, well, I don't know what sound, that full sound. So, and it's probably the quietest place in the house. So, but again, he recorded his last lines as Kylo Ren in the closet. Number 9. So there's 25 of these. This is why I just jumped right in, okay? The first Star Wars was almost, oh, yeah, this is a good one. The first Star Wars almost caused an actual war between Tunisia and Libya because of a Jawa sand scrawler. Gaddafi thought it was a military vehicle, and he told them to move it away from the border or they would be in trouble because George Lucas thought Tunisia was perfect for Tatooine. So he decided to film there. But of course, again, and if you've seen Star Wars and you've seen the sand scrawler, that thing is pretty It's pretty domineering. So, yeah, he's like, mm-mm. So it caused a, as it said in the article, a socio-political issue. So, number 10, okay, this one's funny. This one's so funny. Number 10, Chewbacca had to be protected from bear hunters. Now, according to the article, they filmed in Redwood, California, which, you know, you have a lot of redwood forests and stuff, but apparently it's a big hunting area up there, but which, you know, I'm not, that's not my thing. But I guess because, you know, I mean, if you've seen Chewbacca, come on, I mean, the guy is like a bear. Like from far away, I can see that, you know, and, you know, we know Chewbacca now. And if we saw Chewbacca, you're probably saying, yeah, but we know what Chewbacca looks like. But back then, they didn't. Okay, and this was for Return of the Jedi. George Lucas thought that Redwood, California would be a really good place to film Endor, the moon of Endor. So, you know, where all the little Ewoks lived. I know, they're so cute. Now, that's the funny thing, though, is they had to protect Chewbacca from bears, but Ewoks were like little tiny bears. So, did they not protect the Ewoks, or did they just think they could talk really fast? I don't know. But anyways, I mean, they were like little tiny bears. But yeah, so, you know, we know, like I said, we know Chewbacca now, but back then, you know, they probably, they actually, the funny thing is, I would have figured, even though they said they had to protect him from bear hunters, I'm guessing that when they say bear hunters, I'm thinking they're thinking we have to protect him from people who think he's a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, right? I mean, come on, Peter Mayhew is huge. I mean, the guy was like almost 7 feet tall. So, you know, and then you got this, you know, and he's walking around in this big furry suit and you know, and, I mean, I'm wondering now if bear hunter is code for Bigfoot. So, and no, I'm not laughing at people who hunt Bigfoot, because, you know, I think anything's possible. I know you can laugh at me. I don't care, because, I mean, anything to me is possible. Number 11. This one's always made me sad, and I've known this one for a while. Sir Alec Guinness, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi, hated Star Wars. He hated Star Wars. He thought it was, I mean, I think he thought the writing was below him. I'm not really sure why he took the role. If he didn't particularly care for the writing, maybe he wanted to work, maybe someone convinced him. I mean, I'm sure that the big, huge Star Wars fans out there, I'm a Star Wars fan, but, you know, I don't, like with anything I love, I mean, with anything I love, I don't dive as deep as like super uber hardcore fans do. You know, there's some mysteries I just like to have to myself, you know, just kind of like, yeah, I don't need to know. I don't need to know this. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know what the actors are doing. You know, let them live their lives. They're people. But, you know, but yeah, so there's probably a lot I'm missing and probably a lot I don't know. But I do love Star Wars. And it's been a part of my life since I was 4 years old. So it's very huge. It was, I would say it was the first, when my father first introduced me to sci-fi, you know, and it was like a space opera without music. So, you know, it was just fun. But yeah, that makes me pretty sad, because, I mean, Sir Alec Guinness, I mean, the man has done quite his acting sheet is, what do they call it? Their CVs is pretty extensive. So, it just makes me sad. And he was so good as Obi-Wan Kenobi. But anyways, number 12, there's several direct references to The Godfather throughout the movie. There are several direct references to The Godfather throughout the movie. Now, here's a fun fact that I'm not sure if everybody knows. I can't remember the two other directors, or if there was one other director, but Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Francis Ford Coppola were a part of a little tiny circle of directors that would hang out with each other. And I mean, this goes way back, obviously, to the Star Wars era, and maybe even before that. I was watching a documentary on Steven Spielberg, and they were talking about how they had this, you know, this just circle of directors, and they would kind of critique each other's work, or they would inspire each other, or they would give each other ideas, or they would, you know, help each other, you know, come up with ideas for whatever idea they had that they wanted to go into. So I'm guessing that the Godfather references are basically just a reference to his friend, Francis Ford Coppola. So, and if you, when you listen to music, sometimes you'll hear references from one band talking about something else. And, I can't remember the songs exactly, but I know Steely Dan referenced the Eagles in one of their songs. And then, of course, in Hotel California, the Eagles referenced Steely Dan because they were all friends. So a lot of times people would just hide these little Easter eggs inside of their work for for people, not just I mean, we call them Easter eggs now, but I think it was more as a tribute to their friends. So I think that was it. I mean, come on, Jabba the Hutt and that whole thing, where she chokes him and all that. I mean, there are a lot of direct references. You just have to kind of know both movies to understand them. So number 13. This one's funny. NSYNC was originally in the Attack of the Clones per George Lucas's daughter's request, but they did not make the final edit. So Lance Bass and Justin Timberlake decided, nope, we're not in for this. But the other ones did. And, they were dressed up as Jedi. They got to fight in the Jedi Temple and this and that, but their scenes were ultimately cut. So they'll never know how great they were as Jedis. But, still, I think to be asked and to be able to dress up as a Jedi, to wield those lightsabers, and even just to kind of be in the scene, whether it makes the movie or not, I think is kind of fun. So, I mean, that's an experience that you don't normally get to have. So, whether it happens or not, it's still kind of a fun fact to know that, you get to be a part of something so amazing. Number 14, nobody says the word Ewok at any point in Return of the Jedi. I know, well, because all the Ewoks have names. All the Ewoks have names. So the article, so you're probably all like, oh my God, well then how do we know they were Ewoks? Well, according to the article, the merchandising that came out before the movie kind of specified what they were. This is Wicket, the Ewok. So, and he was the leader of the Ewoks. But for me, I think it was because I had known people who saw it beforehand, and they're like, oh my God, wait till you see the Ewoks. And it's like, what do they look like? Because, I was like, what, 8, 9? And it's just like, what do they look like? Oh no, you'll see them. You'll notice when you see them. And it's like, oh my God, they're so cute. They are so cute. I know they're not supposed to be cute because they are supposed to be badass warriors, which they are, but they're so cute. Just want to pick one up and cuddle it. So, I mean, they're like walking teddy bears. But number 15, the Porgs. Oh, I love the Porgs. Now, this is from the latest trilogy, okay? The Porgs are so cute. And I didn't understand why they I understood why they created the Porgs. So, they filmed part of this, I believe, in Ireland. And now, in Iceland and in Ireland, apparently. It said Ireland in the article, I think, or maybe Iceland. I don't remember now. I seriously, my brain. But I know that puffins are so cute. Oh my God, they're like one of my favorite birds. They are so adorable. But I have a lot of favorite animals, can I say? But puffins are adorable. And where they were filming the scenes where they go looking for Luke Skywalker, where Rey goes looking for Luke Skywalker, or Rey and Chewbacca, you can't remove the puffins because this is their habitat. And you can't really, it takes too long to really kind of erase them from the movie. So they created the Porgs, those cute, adorable looking things. I love them too. They're so cute. And another one you just want to pick up and cuddle, and who just absolutely drove Chewbacca nuts, because they're so underfoot and they're so tiny. But instead of getting rid of the puffins, they actually created the Porgs to kind of replace the puffins. So every time there's a puffin in a scene, then, you can just put the Porg in there. But also, right? So, Sammy says she loves puffins, and puffin was a nickname of her eons ago. I know. You know what? I just discovered puffins when that movie came out. I had never seen one. And then older sibling and I went to the aquarium, and they had one there. And I was like, oh, they're so cute. Or was it the aquarium? I don't know where we went, but I know I saw a puffin somewhere, like a real one. And I was so excited. I was so tickled. And then, so yeah, that kind of became my thing. So, another one of my millions of things, right? Penguins, cows, turtles, puffins, birds. I love crows and ravens. So, so yeah, that's how the scene stealing puffins became the porgs. So, um just as a side note, one of the things it said in the article, puffins are not camera shy. So that's another reason why they had to come up with the porgs. So number 16, Darth Maul barely blinks in The Phantom Menace. I'm thinking, how many eye drops did this guy have to go through? But, I mean, the question is, could he not blink? Or was he just trying to, because Darth Maul was he was scary. He was scary. I had a Star Wars poster up for a while, and I ended up taking it down because Darth Maul's like literally looking right at the camera, so it looks like everywhere you go, he's following you. It's just like creepy. So, yeah, that guy, whoever played Darth Maul, excellent job. But yeah, he barely blinks in The Phantom Menace. So, Chewbacca's voice is a mixture of a badger, a lion, a seal, and a walrus. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, so just as a side fun fact, we're going to go into George Lucas's bestie, Steven Spielberg, for the T-Rex noise in Jurassic Park. They used a baby elephant. So, you know what? The animals of the world, we salute you. So, again, Chewbacca's voice is a mixture of a badger, a lion, a seal, and a walrus. Now, I know what a lion, a seal, and a walrus sound like. I have no idea what a badger sounds like. So, I gotta YouTube that. Number 18, Princess Leia was almost played by Cindy Williams of Laverne and Shirley, but my understanding was that she couldn't, the dialogue was just too rough for her. And I don't mean rough like, like Samuel Jackson rough. I mean, like F words here. No. I mean, it was just the way the dialogue flowed. It was difficult or something. So, Carrie Fisher ended up getting the role. But yeah, that's a fun fact. I know a lot of people are probably going, who's Cindy Williams of Laverne and Shirley? Okay, kids, pull out your retro apps and, look up Laverne and Shirley. That was a fun show. Laverne and Shirley, I believe, was a spin-off of Happy Days. So, yeah. So, number 19, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's communicators were actually ladies' razors. I remember when I first saw them, I'm all like, God, those look like, just shavers that were painted or something. But the picture they use with Ewan McGregor, too, is pretty funny because it looks like he's almost realizing he's talking to into a lady shaver. But yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn's and Obi-Wan's communicators were actually lady shavers. So, number 20, Darth Vader was almost a very famous actor, not the voice. The voice will always be James Earl Jones, but when he is unmasked, George Lucas considered asking Laurence Olivier or Sir John Gielgud. Sir Laurence Olivier or Sir John Gielgud, but maybe the experience with Alec Guinness made him think twice. I don't know, but anyways, when they unmasked Darth Vader, it ended up being somebody else. So, number 21, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford partied with the Rolling Stones and Monty Python while filming The Empire Strikes Back. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, to party with, just even Monty Python would be pretty fun. 22, a 10-year-old Han Solo was almost in Revenge of the Sith. A 10-year-old Han Solo was almost in Revenge of the Sith. So that would have been movie number 6, but part 3. I know, you're probably like, don't confuse us. Number 23, Boba Fett's face was revealed in The Empire Strikes Back, but, this is interesting, not as Boba Fett. So, Jeremy Bulloch, who plays Boba Fett, was just sitting around. He's all, I'm sitting around in my Boba Fett costume, and they needed someone to play an Imperial officer, but they had nobody. So, since he wasn't doing anything at the time, they're all, hey, could you do it? And boom. So, fun fact, in Empire Strikes Back, if you know what Jeremy Bulloch looks like, you have seen Boba Fett, just not as Boba Fett. So, because for all you Mandalorian people, the bounty hunters are not supposed to show their face. So, anyways, 24, Yoda's original name was Buffy. When I first read that, I came up with so many Buffy the Vampire Slayer jokes. And I'm all like, wow, can you imagine I mean, him rolling around with his lightsaber and floating all over the place and training Luke. And when Luke, it's like, yeah, Buffy. I don't know who came up with that, but I'm so grateful that somebody came up with Yoda instead. So, I know, I have no idea. So, anyways, number 25, a small island in the South Pacific, Niue, which is, I can't remember how many miles away from New Zealand, is the only place in the world to accept collectible Star Wars coins as payment. But, here's the but. They have to be from the New Zealand Mint. So they had to be minted in New Zealand. But apparently they had collectible Star Wars coins, which were, it was funny because the article does go into this where it's like, each one of these collectible coins cost $20, but they only have a value of about 80 cents. So if you're paying for something with this, then you're just throwing away money. But it was kind of cool, that you could pay. And I could see it. I could see somebody just buying a bunch of these things just to spend it because it is Star Wars coins. So I can see the thrill in that. So that is pretty exciting. But yeah. So there to one tiny little island where you can pay with Star Wars currency, as long as it was minted in New Zealand. So those are the fun facts for Star Wars. I have a funny story because, I am not young, but I went to see I'm totally blanking today. I think it was The Last Jedi. And when I went to go sit, I was sitting in my seat and I was sitting next to, I'll call them kids because, come on, I'm 50 years old. These kids could have been my kids, but they were in their early 20s. I would guess about 21 or 22 because there was this whole row in front of us and all of a sudden all these kids pour in and the girl's boyfriend's like, oh, great. He's all kids, right? I'm like, really? Because hello, you're sitting right next to me. But anyways, they're worrying, and then I hear the girl go, oh, she's all, I wouldn't worry about them. She's all, we were very well behaved, and that was like us 10 years ago. And I didn't mean to, but I kind of snort laughed. Chortled, snort laughed, chortled, I did something. And they just kind of looked at me, they were like, oh my God, we're sorry. Were we being, we didn't offend you or anything, did we? And I'm like, no. And I said, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that so loud. I said, I'm just laughing because, you guys are talking about 10 years ago and my dad took me to see the original Star Wars in 1977 when I was 4 years old. And they both looked at me like all of a sudden I was a goddess. They're all like, oh my God, you saw the original Star Wars when it came out? And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of feeling very aged now. But then it was like, just like, yeah, just roll with it. And it's like, yeah, I did. I was, and I said, believe it or not, I remember everything from that movie when my dad took me. So it was the first movie I really remember seeing. And I said, I loved it. And they're like, that is the coolest thing ever. They're like, you don't, it's like, well, my parents, I'm like, even my parents didn't see that movie in 1977. But again, my dad's a geek. So I don't think he'd admit to it. My dad's a B-movie loving, horror movie loving sci-fi nerd. But not sure he would appreciate being called a nerd, but I would say aficionado. He loves them all, but thank goodness because he got me into them as well. So yeah, that was my fun fact. But you know what? I have no shame about my age. When my cousin and I were talking yesterday at happy hour, and I was telling her about, because my dad brought up my surgery from when I was 3, and he's like, you'll never know what that was like. I'm like, yeah, I won't. I really won't. I don't know what my parents went through. But, when I was 3, I had a 50-50 chance of surviving my surgery. So every day and every year that I get to celebrate a birthday is a gift. So, and hello, when you meet kids like that who revere you for having just seen Star Wars in 1970s, like the original one is like, whoa, it's like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Yeah, so, but apparently it was. So, Sammy, your dad is a closet geek. I would say so. I think he just, when I was growing up and when he was growing up, being called a nerd or a geek was absolutely horrid. I mean, now it's so different for people nowadays. And I remember because I was called a nerd a lot. I mean, I was very awkward growing up. I had a weird awkward phase up until about 2 years ago. So I know. But yeah, so I think it's just the terminology. So yeah, in a way, I mean, he's very open about his love of B movies and sci-fi and horror and, just, I mean, he loves all kinds of movies, action films. I mean, I love action films too. But I really am my father's child, except the B movies. Sometimes with the B movies, it's like, what were you thinking? But but yeah, so I think, it's just the terminology because of how stigmatized it used to be. Yeah, see, Sammy says it. Now nerds rule the world. I cannot figure out why I cannot talk today. But, or really all week. It's like the struggle's been real with talking all week. But yeah, now the nerds and the Greek geeks rule the world. You're welcome. So anyways, I got jokes. I've got Star Wars jokes. I know, you're like, crap. I got Star Wars jokes. How does Wicket get around Endor? How does Wicket get around Endor? He walks. I'm sorry. I know. I can't help it. These make me laugh. But yeah, he walks. He walks. Okay, just in case I had to explain that. Number 2, why are Death Star pilots fed up with space battles? Why are Death Star pilots always fed up now with space battles? Because they always end up in a tie. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, the TIE fighters are what the bad guys fly. So there's the X-Wing fighters and the TIE fighters. So they always end up in a tie. I know I shouldn't have to explain this because most people will get it. But, there are people out there who, just don't, you can love a movie and not know everything about it. Okay. That's the one thing that drives me nuts is when people love something. But if you don't know one thing, oh, you're not a fan. Bullshit. You are a fan, okay? If you love something, you don't have to go crazy about it. And if you do want to go crazy about it, that's fine. But don't tear somebody else down because they don't know everything, okay? Because I don't know everything. I mean, it was years after the original set of movies came out that I learned that it was a TIE fighter. I mean, come on. I was, 4, 8, and 9 when these movies came out. No way I'm, keeping that to memory. And when I was a kid, you could ask for boy toys, but it was very rare when you'd get one. Okay. I mean, I remember when I was about 12, I asked for the A-Team van and action figures. And my mom says, that's too boyish for you. So I got a Barbie car and 2 A-Team action figures. Right? Right. So you know what? I flipped the switch on them and I decided, well, fine. The characters are going to ride around in the Barbie vet. So there you go. Yeah, Sammy says the same thing. I'm with you. I hate those superior fans. Not all fans are obsessed. And like I said, I don't think it's bad to really be a super fan. But when you become a superior fan and you start putting people down for not knowing everything you think they should know, don't be rude about it. Educate them. Teach them. Say, hey, oh, you don't know what that is? Well, that's actually called a TIE fighter. Or that's called an X-Wing fighter. Or that's the Imperial Cruiser. Or that's an AT-AT. Or as some people would call it, an AT-AT. But when I was growing up, it was an AT-AT. So, which I actually have one from Disneyland. It's a popcorn bucket, right? But I didn't have the pop. Now, at Disneyland, the nice thing is you can get the popcorn on the side so it doesn't ruin the stuff. But I have a Darth Vader head, which I use as a cookie jar. And I have an AT-AT, which I just liked it. So I bought it. And I took a lot of cute pictures around Disneyland with the little strap that they give you to carry it. I actually made it like a leash. So yeah, my friend Cheryl and I, when we went to Disneyland, we took some pictures and tied him up, made him wait outside the store, and it was really fun. It's fun. Sometimes you just got to be creative and have a good time. So number 3, how do Tusken Raiders cheat on their taxes? They always single file to hide their numbers. Sorry, that was a good one. And the last one, what is Jabba the Hutt's middle name? Don't think too hard on this. What is Jabba the Hutt's middle name? The. I'm sorry. Stupid jokes make me laugh. But or puns. There was a lot of puns. Just be glad I didn't give you puns too. But anyways, so that's your fun fact for Star Wars Day. For May the 4th be with you. And there's a bit of controversy to me, because tomorrow or Saturday will be either Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th. So some people say, oh, the 5th is fine because it's the day after, May 4th. But other people are like, no, it should be the 6th because they're Siths. So there you go. So you know what? We'll just say that the bad guys get 2 days, the 5th and the 6th. All right. But as far as everybody else goes, May the 4th be with you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you don't know much about Star Wars, Google it. I'll put the article in the comments so you can read everything else about it and that will go into depth of what I've actually said. Sammy, thank you so much for coming on. I I didn't I didn't call home to wake up older sibling today because she's not a Star Wars fan, so this one would have just bored her to death. But I know, right? Can you believe that? I know people who are not obsessed with Star Wars. She thought it was boring. I know. It's older sibling for you. But, she makes up for it in other areas. She's an awesome sister. But to my mutt twin, thank you so much for popping on. And again, I hope everybody has a wonderful May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Have a wonderful Star Wars Day. And when May 25th rolls around, remember, that's the day that Star Wars A New Hope turns 46. So, Sammy's not a fan either. Well, in that case, Sammy, thank you for enduring this whole show all about Star Wars. I will not be on tomorrow, guys. I know tomorrow's Oracle Friday, but I will not be on tomorrow. Tomorrow's a travel day for me. I'm going back home. And so yeah, I will see you back here Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. Anybody can watch, or I do share them to my page, my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, the Aloha Perspective. So again, I hope have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. Remember, the next 3 days can be Star Wars Day, depending on whether you choose the 5th, Revenge of the 5th, or Revenge of the 6th. Enjoy all 3 days. All right, go watch some Star Wars. Maybe watch. Good morning, Catherine. So, thank you, Sammy. Thank you. And good morning, Catherine, and thank you as well for a safe trip home wish. And so you know what? Just take the next 3 days. Watch 3 today, 3 tomorrow, and 3 on Saturday. You can have Star Wars Day for 3 days. So instead of arguing about it, just enjoy all of them. All right, just enjoy all of them. And remember, whatever you're a super fan of whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is, any show, any great show, don't rake people over the coals for not knowing things. Educate them. That's how people learn. And that's how you can make other people a super fan without being a superior fan. Thank you, Sammy, for that one. I'm going to hold on to that superior fan. Superior fans can be mean. Don't be mean. Be kind. All right. Hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a great, great weekend. And I will see everybody on Monday. Thank you for watching.